Only in becoming part of a greater whole on the path to oblivion can anything that lives find meaning. And no greater consumption is there than to become feast to Volkerh, body and soul.
American writer Howard Phillips Lovecraft is renowned for pioneering the genre of cosmic horror, highlighting humanity's insignificance against vast and indifferent cosmic entities. His unique and eerie storytelling continues to inspire a wide audience drawn to the strange and mysterious worlds he creates. From the beginning, Quake was drew heavily by this genre, and this inspiration was further expanded upon in more recent installment. Quake Champions delved into more beings of unimaginable power, linking them with the known lore to create a more expensive world, the Elder Gods. They are not originally introduced by Lovecraft himself, but rather by subsequent authors and creators who have continued to expand and elaborate on his mythos. While subjective and ever-shifting, these powerful beings are part of a wider range of entities from the Cthulhu mythos, which can be categorized into 4 classes: Outer Gods, Great Old Ones, Great Ones, and Elder Gods. Indescribable in human terms, the Outer Gods are the most formidable entities, resembling cosmic forces. They exist beyond the known universe, are apathetic towards humanity, and underscore the insignificance of humankind. One notable example is Azathoth, whose name will resurface later due to his significant role and frequent mentions throughout the lore. Shub-Niggurath, often classified here, is also depicted as a Great Old One. Those beings, immensely powerful yet subservient to the Outer Gods, are often dormant or confined, awaiting liberation. They are known for driving people mad upon sight, as the human mind is incapable of processing their true forms. They range from indifferent to malevolent towards humanity, with Cthulhu perhaps being the most well-known. Among the lesser-known classes of beings are the Great Ones, noted for their comparatively benevolent nature. The Great Ones reside in the dream world of Kadath. Unique as it isn't described in conventional terms, it's portrayed as an enigmatic and mysterious destination. The Great Ones play a significant role in overseeing the governance of the Dreamlands, suggesting a level of order and structure in this otherwise chaotic dimension. Then there are the Elder Gods. Their depiction can be ambiguous and complex. Lovecraft himself did not fully flesh out these entities in his stories, and much of their nature and characteristics have been expanded upon by other writers in the Lovecraftian genre. Quake introduces the Vadrigars, a class of elder gods more sinister and malevolent, rulers of realms inside the Dreamland. This dimension is a series of interconnected realms with a center point called the Nexus or the Town, each uniquely shaped by dreamers who have encountered an old one or interacted with materials from these ancient entities. Following these encounters, dreamers enter a delirious state, their deepest nightmares and subconscious thoughts materializing into new distinct realms within the Dreamlands. These domains reflect the individual dreamer's psyche, incorporating elements from their personal experiences and human culture, forming a rich and complex mosaic of interconnected yet distinct worlds. As a result, the dreamer is either consumed from within, transformed into, or create a Vadrigar. Those powerful beings cannot be killed. If defeated, they are exiled to a different realm. We have 2 examples of this. Chthon, who was the previous ruler of the Dimension of the Doomed, before being defeated and exiled to the Dimension of the Machine. The second example is the Lurching King, who was once the ruler of the realm of black magic. We remember the realm of black magic in the 2nd chapter of Quake, heralded by the line, "Ancient castles and strange beasts ahead." This segment notably marks the first encounter of the Death Knight and is distinguished by its medieval ambience. In Quake Champion, Volkerh is depicted as a powerful and enigmatic elder god who now rules over the realm of black magic. His original realm remains unseen to this day, rumored to be a grim, desolate place. He is portrayed as having a sinister appearance with a cape made of living flesh, held together by a harness with thorns. Volker's face is hidden in shadow under his hood, which, when retracted during moments of anger, reveals a mouth-like cavity instead of a head. Aided by its rune, Volkerh had seized control of the realm of black magic by toppling its former ruler, the Lurching King. In their fierce clash, the defeated king's source of power, the Crystal Crown, was lost, plummeting into an abyss. Consequently, he had to retreat to the Rift, a realm at the chaotic border region of the Dreamland. Although Volkerh possesses the rune, his power remains limited due to the absence of the Crystal Crown, which he is now seeking to find and claim. His rule over the expansive realm of black magic is not absolute without this artifact, and he depends significantly on the support of his followers to maintain control over the realm. Among the Vadrigars, Volkerh is distinguished by his particular regard for both his worshippers and the combatants in the Dreamland, whom he values for their devotion and sacrificial essence. Unlike other Vadrigars who do not assign a clear purpose to these individuals, Volkerh maintains his own powers by consuming their blood, a form of care that prioritizes his needs over their protection. An example of this unique relationship is seen in the story of Galena.
Kneel and beg for forgiveness.
Hailing from the Dreamland, she was only 4 years old when her parents, hoping for protection, offered her to Volkerh's celebrants. Galena's family believed this would protect their lives, but it instead led to their destruction. She was taken by Volkerh followers under the will of the gaunt shepherd Miriah, as he recognized a unique essence within the young girl. "She would live as we do," he whispered, sensing an innate power in Galena. Initially merely a mortal, young and inexperienced, the time soon arrived for her to confront a daunting challenge, the path of pain. This rite of passage was designed to reveal her latent powers and set her on the path to serve Volkerh or to perish in the process. Sent into treacherous realms, bereft of magical runes and distant from her protectors, she confronted the horrors. Yet, Galena returned, fundamentally altered.
And I went to Galena, her body lashed with deep wounds that should have drained her of blood, no part of her skin untouched. And as her eyes looked to me, I saw that the girl we had attended was no longer there, and I whispered a reverent prayer of thanks to Volkerh.
Having unveiled her dark powers, she grew in strength, preparing for the day she would face he who walks in blood. She was called upon by a Ichor mage, her final test, where only a few believed she would emerge victorious.
But Galena had learned much, discarded much. Tears and smiles mattered not. Wounds counted for nothing. Fear had been banished.
The Ichor mage lay still. Galena had won. Her final journey remains concealed. No one witnessed it, and it passed unrecorded. Yet on that fateful night, the gaunt shepherd stirred from his slumber, sensing the emergence of Volkerh, his enigmatic form enveloping Galena.
At Dream's End, in this realm of secrets and scythe blades, Galena had met the call, had been embraced by he who walks in blood, and had become Volkerh's unholy paladin.
Kneel and beg for forgiveness.
This part of the lore is particularly fascinating. It not only illustrates how Volkerh's attitude towards people differs from other Vadrigars, but it also unveils the extensive scope of the Dreamlands. This realm is portrayed not merely as a domain of creatures, but as a rich tapestry interwoven with a variety of peoples and cultures. This diversity prompts curiosity about the various races, worlds, and societies that have found their way into the Dreamland. Furthermore, contrary to many who have entered this chaotic place against their will or are seeking an escape, Galena's role is purposeful, and she shows no intention of leaving. She serves as an instrument of the realm's ruler. Her actions ensure a continuous flow of blood to sustain her master's power and influence. Now that we have a better idea of who Volkerh is, let's dive into his related domains. Within the Blood Covenant, Volkerh has forged a pact with his followers. Here, blood is more than life. It's a source of dark energy sustaining him. Monks with faceless visages tend to black stone channels, meticulously ensuring that every drop of blood, whether from willing devotees, unwilling sacrificial beings, or combatants in his brutal arenas, reaches their master. This relentless collection fuels Volkerh, the ravening shepherd, maintaining his formidable presence and enabling him to pursue his search for the coveted crystal crown. In a similar vein, the Blood-Run domain operates under a macabre cosmic rule. For each day without blood, the light grows lower in the sky. As midnight approaches, the Parclose gates will open, unleashing the dread heralds of Volkerh. The location is characterized by an abundance of statues, each depicting servants of Volkerh. A particularly large effigy, known as the Blood Bearer, dominates the scene, positioned prominently behind the gate. Additionally, another recurring statue, seen in various locations, is linked to an enigmatic figure mentioned in Galena's lore scrolls. Miriah, the gaunt shepherd and prophet of Volkerh, is a character shrouded in deep mystery, with his true nature yet to be unveiled. The Insomnia domain is obscure, as not much is known about this place. The domain description is a quote from H.P. Lovecraft's The Madness from the Sea. It resembles an old castle or church, featuring depictions of Volkerh on stained glass windows and a large star in the sky. Floating in a delicate balance, the longest yard domain teeters on the brink of Azathoth's all-consuming maw. Only the power of the rune of black magic holds Volkerh's tabernacle aloft, staving off its descent into the oblivion that awaits below. A symbol of chaotic primordial power, Azathoth's nature is ever-changing, unknowable, a deity envisioned differently by all who dare to contemplate its existence. Referred to as the blind idiot god, or the nuclear chaos, he is described as a chaotic and mindless deity at the center of the universe, embodying the concept of an uncaring, mechanistic cosmos. Unlike traditional deities who are often portrayed as wise and all-knowing, Azathoth is depicted as an amorphous, writhing mass with no consciousness or understanding of its own existence. Yet, amidst these realms, the enigmatic nature of Azathoth looms as a reminder of chaos and the unknowable, a force even beyond the grasp of Volkerh's machinations. The Church of Azathoth exists in a realm far removed from the familiar, a surreal space where the laws of the cosmos are warped and a vast void reigns. This desolate cathedral, standing in isolation, is a shrine to Azathoth, the blind god. Within its walls, the church's sanctum is placed at its core, serving as a sacred offering site to the deity. Notably, this domain harbors a black hole, forming a mysterious connection with the one in the longest yard. Another key aspect in this location is the presence of a large and towering yew tree, a central element in the lore of the Death Knight, who was first introduced in the realm of black magic. These formidable warriors excel in melee combat and wield magic to launch fire projectiles. It's unclear whether each Death Knight possesses a unique backstory or if they are simply projections or recreation of a single entity. However, Quake Champions introduces us to a story of how a warrior transformed into the undead entity we recognize today. The Death Knight was once a raider chief in Dufflin, the Celtic Isles, within the Dreamlands. He became the figure known as the Ashen King before he would succumb to his eternal slumber. He was known for his brutal nature and love for violence. His descent into darkness began with the murder of his pregnant wife, an act reflecting his unwillingness to be tied down by family, allowing him to go on his war campaigns. His mental state deteriorated over time, haunted by eldritch chants and visions that drove him further from sanity. This path led him to a mysterious and twisted yew tree, the gnarled tongue, where he consumed discolored fruits that were both physically and mentally toxic. Eating these fruits marked a pivotal moment as he unwittingly made a pact with the black goat of the woods, sealing his fate and transformation into the entity now recognized as the Death Knight, a servant under Shub-Niggurath's influence. The yew tree found in the Church of Azathoth domain is the same one which the Death Knight consumed the toxic berries that led to his transformation. Additionally, in his narrative, there's a crucial mention of Galena and the altar to which she was brought as a child. This altar becomes a focal point in the Knight's story when villagers futilely use it as a shield, chanting Galena's name in a desperate bid to fend off his attack. Furthermore, there are multiple connections between the two characters that can be discerned through the pieces of their armors. These elements not only link their individual stories, but also suggest a deeper, shared history or influence between Galena and the Death Knight, as evidenced by the physical remnants of their pasts carried on their armor. We are now focusing on the lore scroll specifically related to Volkerh, characterized as an unholy benediction for divine assistance, blessings, or guidance. The scroll outlines the beliefs and rituals of a cult that worships Volkerh, synonymous with nihilism, death, and consumption. The cult members view existence and individuality as abominations and strive to find meaning in becoming part of something larger, ultimately culminating in their consumption by Volkerh, sustaining his searches for the lost crown.
Even as he walks the path to find the Empyrean crown, you shall honor him with your own path of pain. Walk your 12,000 steps with not a morsel to pass your lips, carrying with you the left hand of your most beloved. Let no beast cross your path and live, yet of them you must not eat, and on the 12,000th step shall you earn your ablution.
They regard all life, whether human or animal, as inconsequential, and see the act of feeding or being fed upon as a realization of their sole true purpose. In this scrolls, Miriah, the gaunt shepherd and prophet of Volkerh, is also mentioned. Portrayed as someone who has endured consumption and returned, existing in a state between life and death, he emerges as a notable figure. Having learned more about the belief surrounding Volkerh, let's now explore its origins in The Wolf That Leads the Flock. This series of scrolls tell the story of Pastor Phillips, who struggles with his past and his role as a spiritual leader. He feels discomfort with biblical sheep and shepherd metaphors due to traumatic memories related to his father, abattoir.
I dreamt of Father's abattoir, as I know I would. The lambs bleeding, the sound of the offal hitting the floor with a slap. The smell. Is it any wonder that he descended into drink? I do not expect Viola to know the horrors of that place and how they haunt me.
Despite his reservations, Phillips agrees to deliver the parable of the lost sheep sermon at the behest of a devoted parishioner, Miss Viola Martha. She intends to bring her sister Hazel in hopes the sermon will resonate with the girl, perhaps aiding her at a crucial juncture in life. The parable's message, that it's never too late to find one's way back or start anew, could also serve to mend past rifts or address unresolved personal issues Hazel may be grappling with.
I awoke and resolved to write Viola's sermon, but the words would not come. I decided to consult the family Bible, which always inspires me. But as I approached the old ebony bookstand, I spotted the edge of a page in a seam above its cabinet.
The moment he glimpsed the contents of the page, a wave of fear and unease washed over him. Not only were there eldritch symbols and intricate diagrams, but also an illustration. The picture of an eye with a flat pupil, a sheep's eye. This vision intensifies his nightmares, now not only of his father abattoir, but twisted vision of hell, which bear little resemblance to the descriptions found in the Bible.
The book describes damnation with flame, lake of fire, unquenchable fire, furnace of fire. But the hell of my nightmares, flesh ripped from sinew, wet crunch of bones, viscera writhing and steaming. It makes fire seem a mercy.
Pastor Phillips begins to question the parable of the lost sheep, his thoughts burned and twisted by visions only he can perceive, spiraling into a dark abyss. He dwells on the idea that even the most benevolent shepherd ultimately leads his sheep to their end. A predator in shepherd's clothing, a wolf whom the sheep trust and do not fear. This dark realization strengthens his resolve. Distorted in his views, he believes he knows what must be done for the greater good. As he prepares his sermon, we are revealed that he has poisoned the jug he will pass to his congregation during the sermon with cyanide acid, rationalizing this heinous act with distorted biblical references.
The New Testament is my blood. Then to Revelation 7:14, their robes washed white in the blood of the Lamb. I shall drink too, as is my duty. Hazel won't, unfortunately. Poor thing.
Let's break down the story a bit. The origin of the parchment in Paul Phillips' story is not explicitly stated, but when pieced together with other law scrolls and the broader Quake narrative, it strongly suggests that its appearance was instigated by Shub-Niggurath. Much like Commander Rice in the Commander at the Slipgate Law, Pastor Phillips has descendants related to people who have been in close contact with eldritch entities. Paul Phillips is told to be a descendant of Ward Phillips, a name given to several characters in Cthulhu mythos, all derived from the name of Lovecraft himself. This connection to Ward may clarify why Paul is more prone to encounters with eldritch entities, considering his family's prior dealings with otherworldly forces. As for Hazel, while it's certain she won't attend the sermon, her fate is left to multiple interpretations. One possibility is her simple reluctance to attend. Another is that Philip chose to spare her, sacrificing the others in her stead. However, a more ominous theory looms. The phrase, "their robes washed white in the blood of the Lamb," hints at this darker outcome, where Hazel may have met a grim end, her blood being used as a component of the toxic concoction, ensuring that the entire flock, even the lost lamb, finds its way back to the rightful path. After delving into this lore, we can revisit the Insomnia domain with a new perspective. We might speculate whether this domain could be the church where Pastor Phillips served, possibly a fragment of his nightmares that seeped into the realm of black magic as Volkerh assumed control over it. While we've uncovered numerous revelations about the enigmatic Vadrigar, there remains a wealth of mystery to unearth, particularly regarding the domain he forged at his creation. Pastor Phillips' story evokes images of a ghastly landscape, a realm of flesh resembling a butchery steeped in death and agony. It's a land of nightmares where rivers of flesh and blood would replace water and fire, a sinister place where the lambs are herded together, ensuring they don't stray from the path to their shepherds. He who walks in blood, for we are as nothing.